Hey guys, Stay Patient here, and it's that time of the week again for the Trophy Hunters PSN update. Now I'm going to kind of whiz through this a little bit. I do apologise for that, and I apologise that it's a couple of days late as well, but I've been super busy. I've had company for the past week, and that's why I was kind of backing off from YouTube a bit. I was also giving my voice a bit of a break, which doesn't seem to have helped a huge amount because it's still kind of feeling a bit hoarse. But the reason I want to kind of rush through this a little bit is because today the Bioshock collection is out, and that's one of the games we're going to talk about. And I am planning some trophy guides for that, so I do want to jump on that nice and quickly, get in there early. But we're going to go through the games that have come out recently, as usual, and look at some of the ones that are due out soon. Now, most of these were sort of covered last week, and we've got a few games that haven't got platinums here. The first one that actually stuck out to me, oh, actually, no, we had Oceanhorn, we mentioned last week, and I said it looked like a kind of cheap game. It had the similar font to use for Orc Slayer, which is a very cheap game. When I say cheap, I mean sort of cheaply made rather than cheap to buy, although it is cheap to buy as well. But someone pointed out, I think it was Ghosty, but I forget, I apologise if I've got that wrong, but someone did point out on last week's video that this is apparently a sort of almost Zelda-esque RPG. I think it's ported over from the phone, you know, the phone game market. So it sounds like it might be okay, you know. It's got 10% of people who've earned the platinum. It's obviously not a long game, because if you look at it, the people who have earned it have done it in sort of a day or so, a couple of days. Most people around sort of 3 days or less. We have had a few people do it in sort of 20 hours. So yeah, it looks like it's, I mean, obviously it's not one of those super quick platinums, but it's not a massively long epic RPG either. And it's got, you know, a decent number of people having platted it, so it could end up being one of those easier ones. If we have a look at the rarest trophy, if you have a look here, the catch one fish of every kind, that's like a collectible trophy which you can follow a guide for. So this one here is obviously, I guess, just leveling up, reach the highest adventurer level, collect bloodstones from all over the world. Now, all of the rarest trophies seem to be the longer winded ones rather than the hard ones. So when it comes to trophy sets, if you look at the rarest trophies, if those, you know, the ones that have been earned by the least number of people look like tough ones that maybe like beat a certain boss or whatever, maybe beat the game on the hardest difficulty, then that might mean that the trophy set's going to be a difficult trophy set. But if the rarest trophies are ones that just look like they're time consuming, then that means that all the other trophies have been kind of earned by people, and it's just a case of finishing off those last few longer winded trophies. And usually those trophy sets are easy, even if they take a while, they're the easier ones. So that's like something you can kind of use to gauge what kind of trophies a game has. You know, you can look at these rarest ones and try and figure out why they're rarest, why they're sort of not being earned by as many people. Anyway, I'm kind of rambling now. Let's go back to our list. Pardon me, let's see, where are we? So that was Oceanhorn. I think it was Ghosty as well that mentioned about Shantae. He said that they are quite tricky, kind of platform games, platformers, so we're going to skip past them. There was a couple up there last week, so obviously they're trying to bring the franchise back. I will mention Air simply because this is a Japanese game, and usually they're spelt out with Japanese characters. But you know, if you're a hardcore trophy hunter, you'll know by now that the Vita games do contain, oh sorry, the Japanese Vita games do contain super easy platinums. Not all of them, but a lot of them are visual novels, and it's literally just a case of going through the text. You literally have to do nothing. The only tricky thing is sort of knowing what decisions to make as you make your way through the game. Some of them will give you choices, and you can't read it unless you read Japanese. So, and you know, when you don't know what the trophies are either, because they're written in Japanese, it can be a bit confusing. But if we click on this, as you'll see here, the trophies are in Japanese. So quite often there's a site that will often do guides for these. I believe it's called, let's just go to, you know, this is one of my bookmarked roadmaps. So it's this site here, ps3imports.org, and people on here do a bunch of trophy guides specifically for the imported like Japanese and Asian games. So for instance, this is, what was this for? Rose and Maiden. 2 out of 10, 4 to 6 hours, and they'll give you sort of a step-by-step guide. Basically, they'll tell you what choices to make in each of the, when you are presented with choices in the dialogue, and then tell you when to make a save, and then you'll revert back to those saves, and it will literally just take you through the platinum step by step. Now, I don't usually cover the Japanese Vita games because, oh, where are we? Yeah, because we all know they're easy. If you're a big trophy hunter, you'll know about them. If you're not a big trophy hunter, then you're probably not going to be willing to spend the kind of money it requires to import them. You can currently get Air on playasia.com for about £35. That's obviously UK currency. I didn't take note of what it was in dollars. But yeah, they are quite expensive. They're usually around sort of £40 or something, because it does cost a lot to... I suppose they can afford to charge a lot because people want them for the trophies. And because you're importing it as well, it can cost a lot to bring it over here. But I thought I'd just mention that one. We're going to skip over most of them. It's got quite a high, percentage of people who platted it. Obviously, 81%. That's the kind of figure that all of these Japanese Vita games have. Quite often they're 90 plus, but this is a new one, so a lot of people will have sort of bought it and maybe not finished it off yet. Let's see here. Where did we get to? I don't see Stardust being easy. I'm trying to remember what I sort of researched. Dead Synchronicity. I haven't looked at that one yet, and no one's played it. But who knows? It looks again like a indie game. The art style looks quite basic, so I'm going to keep an eye on this one actually. I'll remember the name for next week, Dead Synchronicity, and that might be another easy plat, because they're coming thick and fast at the moment, these easy platinums from the smaller studios. I think they've cottoned on to the fact that trophies are a big selling point, so they're making these cheap games that could probably run on a mobile phone, but they're putting them on PS4, and no one would usually play them, but they're whacking a nice easy platinum on it, and loads of people are buying it because of that. Let's see, we've got Jotuns out now. What have we got here? Filthy Lucre. Okay. I don't really know a lot about most of these games, but I'm keeping an eye on the percentages and just kind of picking out ones that look like they're worth reviewing. Now, the Pro Evo Soccer 2017, obviously that's a AAA title. Pro Evo is kind of caught up with FIFA these days. They sort of went back and forth over the last few generations. PS2 was all about Pro Evo, PS3 was all about FIFA, and now we've got a situation where they're both doing well, but I haven't had a chance to look through here, and it's really one of those games that you'll need to wait for a guide for, or at least wait for some feedback on what people think of the Platinum, because sometimes these can be super hard depending on whether you have to win games online, whether you have to beat a certain level of AI, things like that. And we've got I guess the Japanese version of Pro Evo, which is Winning 11 here. But we've got quite a few AAA titles come out this week. Where are we? So we've got a high percentage here for NBA 2K17, but that's just the prelude. I think that's kind of like the MotoGP. I forget the name of them now. They've done like the slimmed down version of MotoGP that you can buy and then upgrade to the full game. That looks like that's what this is, a kind of a taster, almost like a demo for NBA, and it's got trophies, decent completion percentage, but the NBA full games are usually pretty tough, especially for someone like me from the UK who doesn't know basketball. I like the sport, but I don't know all the technical terms. In fact, I bought Pro Evo 14, I bought NBA 2K14 when it came out, at the launch of the PS4. And I thought it'd be cool to play something different. I've not played a basketball game properly before, apart from maybe like NBA Street or whatever. And I picked it up and I was literally trying to find the buttons, and there was no buttons in the menu. There was no like controller configuration. So I looked in the manual, and it was either in the manual or online. It had like a list of the controls, and I literally didn't know what the terms meant. So I didn't know even looking at the list of the controls, I didn't know what the controls were because all the technical terms they were using, I had no idea. But that's why the games get such good reviews, is because they are technical, they are deep. So they do appeal to people who know NBA, who know basketball. But we've got here, we've got the BioShock trilogy, which was really cool to see added to the website. So we've got BioShock 1 up here, BioShock 2, and BioShock Infinite. Now, I've looked through all these lists, and from what I can tell, every list is exactly the same as their PS3 counterpart, except for BioShock 2, which has less trophies because they've taken out the online. So one of the DLC packs is gone, because that was online related, and the Platinum itself had several online trophies for leveling up, but because no one liked it, because no one played it, they've taken that out. So there's less trophies this time around, but there's no online involved. So there's no online for any of them. And that's good news, obviously. Online is good for some games, but not for BioShock. We don't need that. It's a single player game. But I will say that the games are awesome. If you've not played the BioShock games, you need to get them. This collection, I'm going to pick it up today. I have got one pre-ordered that's being posted to me, but it's not going to be here till tomorrow or the next day. So I'm actually going to buy one from a shop and just return the other one. That's how much I want to play it, you know. I'm really ready for some more BioShock. Infinite is my second favourite game of all time. That's how much I love it. And the trophy set is fine. They actually advertised this new difficulty when the game was being developed. They talked about this 1999 difficulty, and it was like an homage to how difficult games were back before the turn of the century. And everyone thought, oh great, you know, it's going to be this real hard mode, but it actually ended up being super simple. It's not difficult at all, and it's actually a very easy trophy set. So if you are looking for some trophy guides for it, there are actually lots of guides for Infinite on YouTube already. I know PowerPix has done a lot of guides, and his are very useful, but he doesn't commentate, and I know a lot of you like commentary with your trophy guides so that you can understand what's happening on screen. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do guides for almost all the trophies in the game, as well as the collectibles, and I'm going to commentate for it all, explaining what's going on and everything, and I know a lot of you enjoy that. So stay tuned to my channel. Oh, what am I doing here? Sorry, I just mashed my keyboard by accident. Let's go back. Yeah, stay tuned to my channel, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll be bringing lots of trophy guides, hopefully for all three of the BioShock games. It's just a case of time, finding the time to do it. We've also got another collection that a lot of you are sort of excited about, Dead Rising 2 and Off the Record. Now I'm looking to see if Dead Rising 1 is on here. Okay. When was this added then? Yeah, okay, well, that's very strange actually, because the first Dead Rising, was that not showing up? Let's have a look. Yeah, that must have been added a while ago. I thought it was all part of the same collection, but for some reason Dead Rising 1 isn't showing up in this list of the most recent releases, so maybe the trophies for that one were added earlier, or maybe they've not quite been added yet, but they do show up if you search for it. I'm not sure, that's a bit strange, that one. But this collection, I don't really know a lot about the trophies. I did buy Dead Rising 2, but I found it a bit annoying having to manage your time. I just wanted to kind of go out and play in the world, you know, just mess around with all the weapons and stuff. But you have to kind of manage your time by going out and getting medicine for your daughter and getting back within a certain amount of time. And it kind of spoiled the feeling of it being just a big playground, you know, which is the impression I had of the game before I played it. But I might give it another go once I get a chance. There's too many games to play, really. But you know, I know a lot of you will be picking them up, and I don't think they're particularly hard platinums, from what I remember. That is, if the trophies are the same as the achievements on Xbox, and of course the trophies on the PS3. In fact, we could look, let's have a look here. So we've got 200,000 people have played Dead Rising 2 on PS3. It is an ultra rare platinum, but it might be because of... Oh, sorry about this, I'm miles away. It might be because of the... Yeah, okay, so the rarest trophy, kill 72,000 zombies, change into all pieces of clothing in the game. That could be difficult depending on how you go about collecting the clothing. use every type of melee weapon, so it looks like it's mostly time consuming rather than difficult. I mean, 72,000 zombies. There's going to be farming methods for that. You know, if you check out the trophy guides and things like that, you'll be able to find a farming method for blitzing through hundreds at a time. But it does look like a fairly long-winded trophy set. Where are we? Let's have a look. Okay, let's see if it's got all those same trophies, shall we? 70, yeah, it's still got the 72,000 kills. Alright, so I'm not going to sort of talk too much about them because I don't really know much about the Dead Rising games. I do know the Bioshock games, and I'm going to be doing guides for them, as I mentioned. What have we got here? That's another Japanese game, or at least a foreign game by the looks of it. Oh, it's Vita, yeah. We got the Winning 11 and Don't Starve Together. That's actually got 10 out of 10 on Steam. It's like the multiplayer standalone add-on to Don't Starve, and it seems to be getting a really good response. So I don't see it being an easy platinum by any means. It's probably going to be very tough, but it's probably going to end up being a pretty good game. So it might be worth checking out, but no one's played it yet, so we don't have a lot of feedback. But there you have it, guys. The big games this week, obviously the Bioshock Collection. Can't wait to play that. Hope you guys are going to pick it up as well, because if you've not played it, Infinite especially is possibly the best story I've ever experienced in a video game. In fact, it's one of the best stories I've experienced in any form of entertainment. It's just so good. And it's the kind of game that you do have to complete twice. Well, technically you can put in a cheat code to unlock the hardest difficulty and do all the trophies in one playthrough, but all the other combat trophies would be quite difficult to do on the hardest setting. So you play through once, get all the collectibles, all the other trophies, and then you play through again on the hardest setting, which unlocks once you complete the game once. And it's the kind of game that really benefits from being played twice, because there's so many bits of dialogue and little touches in the game that you don't pick up on the first time through because you don't know what's actually happening. So once you understand the story, once you've seen it through to the end and you know what's going on, you can come back and you listen to everything that's said, and so much of it just clicks, like you think, oh wow, you know, now that totally makes sense. And it's stuff that, you know, it wouldn't necessarily confuse you, you know, during the first playthrough. It's just stuff you don't even notice, you know, it's just lines of dialogue that just sound like white noise, just background noise, but they take on a whole new significance when you play through again and you understand, you know the ending of the game, you know what's really going on. And obviously I'm not going to spoil anything for you because it's so genius. But yeah, absolutely worth a play, and certainly worth 2 plays, because it's one of the best games to play for a second time, if that makes sense. Anyway guys, I'm going to go because I'm just kind of rambling on now. I'm going to go and pick up my copy and start playing. I did actually record 4 Platinum reviews for my Platinum review series. I recorded them earlier on today, and annoyingly enough, for some reason, my recording software had swapped the input for the microphone, so my voice wasn't recorded, and that's a real pain because it means I've got to redo them. But they might be a bit late. Not that you guys are necessarily waiting for them, because I do them when I've earned a Platinum, and you might not know which Platinums I've earned. But I am bringing you reviews for Alien Nation, Orc Slayer, Coffin Dodgers, and Rockets. So 3 super easy, quick Platinums, and 1 very, very long Platinum. But I will do them when I get a chance. I'm not going to redo them right now because I want to get on Bioshock, but stay tuned to the channel for those reviews when I do get round to doing them. So I hope you've enjoyed this week's edition of the Trophy Hunters PSN update, guys. Sorry it's been rushed a bit. It's probably still been quite long, but I haven't done quite as much research as I might have done usually because of the company I've had over the last week. But next week, you know, we'll see what comes out. It's certainly getting busy. You know, we know that there's lots of games coming out this year, and this is like the first week where things are starting to ramp up. So we've got Bioshock Collection, we've got the Dead Rising Collection, and from here on out, it's just going to get busier and busier. So each week is going to get more and more interesting, hopefully. So hopefully I'll catch you in next week's episode, and in the meantime, don't forget to check out all my guides that I'll be putting up this week for Bioshock. So thanks for watching once again, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you very soon.